So the eye of times is imagery. Imagery is archetypes. So myths, legends, religions, right? The archetype of a goddess, of so many of them. The entire tarot deck is made of archetypes, right? Why do we like archetypes? They take us out of our personal individual experience and they bring us into a collective realm. So in this age where we become so entranced with our own inner personal workings, an archetype is something that can move us out of ourselves, right? So Jungian analysis works a lot with dreams and works with archetypes. That's part of the intention. Otherwise, we just get wound up in our own little story, right? It's just part of our nature. And it's part of individualist culture. If we were living in a more village-minded place, then that would be happening on a larger scale because there would be collective movements and rituals that were helping us relate to these archetypes and things that aren't even archetypes. Like in some ways, the moon has become an archetype for the feminine. And in a way, it is an archetype, but in a way, it's also reality, right? Like the moon's in the sky, it's actually there. We know it. The images come through the senses. So visual imagery, that can be paintings, that can be, looking at just outside at nature. We have the other senses, smells, taste, sound. So one of the principles that we have in somatic work is called coupling. Coupling is when two things or more become one thing and you can't see them separately anymore. So for instance, if the moment you smell a perfume, you immediately think of your grandmother, or you immediately think of your ex-boyfriend, but then there you are down a road and you're already crying because of the breakup with the boyfriend who's now with someone else. And, these things that happen, we have these lists of associations, thought. But where did they start? It started with a sense image. We can use this to our advantage. We call that recoupling, right? Because how wonderful to have senses that are connected to things that we love and that are uplifting. Incense does that. I was in church last night for the 1 month marking of a funeral of my friend's mother, and the frankincense is just so powerful. That smell, it just immediately brings me into a sense of connection with spirit. So that's a positive coupling. I wouldn't want to really uncouple those because I like the feeling that I have. Now, might be a problem if I could only feel that way when I smelled frankincense, right? If I could only feel that way, well, then we'd want to do some uncoupling because I would like to be connected to the sacred in many different moments. And what happens if I run out of frankincense or something?